Picture a modern weekday evening. Blue screens glow, meals are eaten alone or on the move, and wellness becomes another task to optimize. For many, these rhythms feel normal, even responsible. Yet, in pockets across the world where lifespans quietly stretch into the 90s and beyond, these habits appear foreign, sometimes even illogical. The difference isn't flashy or heroic, it's subtle, often invisible. Most notably, it begins with a pattern that's nearly extinct in much of today's world: genuine, repetitive community engagement. We tend to see this as optional. But beneath the surface, how we structure our daily connections shapes not just mood or motivation, but actually how our bodies age, handle disease, and repair. It's tempting to believe that health is mostly about individual habits: the right diet, the latest supplement, precise sleep routines. These are measurable, easily monitored on apps and wearables. But cultures renowned for longevity didn't design their routines for efficiency or optimization. Instead, their patterns grew around rituals of togetherness: shared meals, walking with others, daily intergenerational conversations. Behavioral research shows such rituals don't just foster belonging, they reduce chronic stress, buffer against loneliness, and anchor healthy micro-behaviors. The overlooked trade-off: when life revolves around solo optimization, the brain quietly signals a subtle threat: social isolation. Over years, this stress leads to inflammation and worsens nearly every marker of aging. What feels smart in the short term may carry silent, long-haul costs. A key reason long-lived societies resist isolated routines comes down to the difference between intentional solitude and accidental disconnection. Modern living often confuses the two. The psychological literature is clear: meaning rarely comes from relentless self-improvement alone. What these cultures have mastered isn't avoiding modern conveniences, but weaving necessity and pleasure around small but frequent social contact. Meals aren't just fuel, they're opportunities for repair, both emotional and physiological. It's a system that distributes responsibility for well-being across the group, rather than leaving it solely on individuals. The mental model here is simple. Real resilience is collective, not just personal, and health stems as much from context as it does from individual willpower. There's an internal objection that arises: but I like my independence. And there's truth in that. Autonomy matters a great deal for happiness. However, independence isn't always isolation. The healthiest cultures blend self-reliance with regular low-pressure connection. Science suggests that this isn't about constant socializing. It's about routines that make meaningful, spontaneous contact almost inevitable. Paths cross, faces become familiar, and help, both given and received, becomes normal. This kind of embedded social infrastructure doesn't demand extraversion. It simply lowers the barrier to entry for healthy habits and buffers against crises. Over time, it creates a baseline for thriving that's difficult to replicate with technology alone. If you're interested in longevity, the most practical biohack might not be something you buy or measure, but rather a subtle redesign of how daily life unfolds with others. This isn't an all-or-nothing proposal. It could mean committing to a weekly meal, a walking group, or simply lingering a little longer in conversation. The logic is unglamorous but powerful. Repeated ordinary connection does what supplements and wearables rarely achieve. It helps your body and mind endure. In a world obsessed with optimization, remember the basic shape of a long, healthy life is collective, not isolated. If this video helped you, please hit that like button and subscribe and share it with your friends.